Y'all seem to have liked the Lakers future video, so as promised, I'm back with another one, and this time, we're talking about one of the hottest teams in basketball, the Phoenix Suns. But if you guys want to see this series continue, smash the like button, tell me in the comments below, and let's hop into it. Man, do I feel for Suns fans. They had such a strong start to the year, then slowed down throughout most of the regular season, and then once getting to the bubble, looked like the real deal. They went 8-0, needing just one more loss from either the Grizzlies or the Portland Trailblazers to make it into the play-in. In fact, they were actually one shot away with Karis LeVert's missed buzzer beater attempt. But on the other hand, Suns fans got to end the season on an extremely positive note and have been given so much optimism going into the future. But let's take a look at just how bright their future really is. Obviously, what Suns fans have the most to get excited about is their star shooting guard, Devin Booker. Devin Booker is getting a lot of love right now, and it's just so funny to see how the narrative changes so quickly. These concerns for Booker's ability to win were just wiped away in a couple weeks. These concerns were always ridiculous, which is why I went over them in a video a couple months back. All these guys that claim to know everything about this sport just love to overthink it. Looking back, we're gonna laugh at these criticisms that we judged a player that hadn't even touched his prime and had 5 head coaches since coming to the league on his team's success. Devin Booker can 100% be a #1 option, and everyone is starting to catch on to that. So we know Devin Booker has a great career ahead, but what are the chances that he stays with this team for the long term? Now, there's no immediate threat to him leaving. He still has 4 more years on his deal, and for the most part, has spoken very highly of this team. After Draymond Green's recent statements about Devin Booker, he commented to it saying, "I feel like that's very important for this organization, for the fans that have stuck by us for the long and still do so. So I've been in Phoenix. We haven't had the winning success that we had, but the support's been there, and this is what we owe to the fans. We owe to the organization. It's been a long time for us, and I think this bubble opportunity was big for us, and we're taking advantage of it." Since being drafted, Booker's continued to say that he wants to win, but he's made it clear he wants to win in Phoenix. Now, it's not out of the question that if the Suns continue to run the organization the way they have for the past 5 years, that his mentality changes. And we see him request a trade like we've seen with so many great young players in recent years. Now, Booker's not the only young player for the Suns to get excited about. In fact, most of the main pieces of this roster are 24 or younger. They've got their #1 pick from 2018, DeAndre Ayton, and while this selection will always be looked back at with regret solely due to who was taken behind him, that doesn't mean he doesn't have a lot of potential. There's definitely some concerns about how his game is going to fit in the modern game, but nonetheless, he's been very solid to this point. As a rookie, he averaged 16 points and 10 rebounds, and in 38 games this season, has averaged 18 points and 12 rebounds. They also have Kelly Oubre Jr., who was drafted by the Wizards in 2015, then traded to the Suns along with Austin Rivers for Trevor Ariza. One of the few very good moves this team has made over the past half-decade. At the time, he was averaging just 13 points, but is now a 19-a-game scorer, shooting 45% from the field and 35% from 3 at 24 years old. He doesn't really get the credit that he deserves, and 100% can be a 20-plus scorer for this team. They've got their second lottery pick from 2018, Mikal Bridges, who by no means jumps off the paper, but has and will be a very solid wing. He's just one of those guys that no team wouldn't want to have on their roster. In his second season, he's averaging 9 points, shooting 51% from the field and 36% from 3, while showing a lot of potential as a perimeter defender. This is a guy I was super high on going into the draft and still really believe in what he can do. And then there's their latest addition to the young core, Cam Johnson, who they took with the 11th overall pick in the recent 2019 draft. If you watch my content leading up into last year's draft, you would have known I was really high on Cam Johnson. It's just I was super high on him given he was projected to be a late first round selection. I was shocked. You can see it in Kobe White's face when he heard it when the Suns grabbed him at 11, but he's been exactly what I expected. Never thought he was going to be a big part of any NBA offense, but he's been a solid presence on the defensive end, and as a rookie, has averaged 9 points, shooting 39% from 3. I'm a firm believer that the modern contenders are going to be built on the strength of their wings, and between Booker, Oubre, Cam, and Bridges, I really like the building blocks this team has. Now, we need to look at the contracts. Obviously, they have Booker's big deal, which goes till 2024, and the only other relatively big contract they have would be Ricky Rubio, who's getting $17 million a season till 2021. So as of now, they really don't have too much committed money. It's going to be interesting to see how they treat the players that are going to need new deals. They're going to be able to spend some money both this summer, not that there's too much to spend it on, and 2021, which is just loaded. Now, Phoenix isn't much of a destination as it stands right now, and it's hard to imagine them having a great chance at big 2021 names, but it's not out of the question. So if Phoenix is going to bring in a big name via free agency, they really just have about 2 years to do so. The best case scenario would be for them to be pretty inactive this summer, then shoot for the fences in 2021. Land a top free agent, and hopefully still be able to sign Oubre if he goes for a fair price. Now, this might seem kind of unrealistic money-wise, but considering they're going to be under the cap, they can decline the team options of Elliot Kobo and Ty Jerome, and really if they have to, move the final year of Rubio's deal, which they might have to do when you start adding in more of these rookie contracts to the mix. It's quite possible. Now, the thought of Phoenix landing those top guys feels kind of crazy, but if the Suns keep showing the potential we saw in the bubble, I don't think it's out of the question that someone wants to team up with a young star like Booker. So what's nice about this hypothetical is they're able to spend money in 2021, still re-sign Oubre before they have to pay guys like DeAndre Ayton and Mikal Bridges. Now, they're not going to be the only team that's setting themselves up for next summer, but even without a top free agent, I still think their future is bright. I don't know if they have that someone right now that can be that true number 2 guy to Booker, but as this roster develops, I do really like what they have. Now, in terms of free agents they could go after, they're not going to waste their time going after the Giannis's and Kawhis of the world, and the most glaring projected holes, based on what we assume their roster will be by then, is the point guard and power forward positions, but I don't think their free agent pool is going to be limited to that at all. I also would expect this team to be extremely active in the trade market, considering just how many young guys they need to pay. It's also much harder to look at future free agency with smaller market teams like Phoenix. So lastly, we've got to talk about the draft. So right now, the Phoenix Suns hold the 10th best odds at the number 1 pick, which equates to a 3% chance at the top selection and a 14% chance at a top 4 pick. Now, this is one of the very few teams that I just would love to see Lamelo Ball on, but as we said, there's only a 3% chance that happens unless he falls from number 1, but man, would a backcourt of Lamelo and Devin Booker just be so exciting. I don't think there's really any other top prospects. I just love the fit. So assuming they just landed their projected 10, based on the players projected to be available, it seems pretty likely they would draft a guard. The guys that could be available would include Killian Hayes, RJ Hampton, Cole Anthony, and Tyrese Halliburton. I've seen Anthony consistently mocked here, and I truly don't think that's what's best for this team. In fact, I really like what Ricky Rubio has brought to this team, so I think it's best they look for a player with a similar skill set. And out of this group, that's got to be Tyrese Halliburton. He has the potential to run this offense like we've seen with Rubio, with a lot more promise when it comes to both his shooting and defense, given his size. I really think this is one of the best fits in this whole entire draft. If they can't get a chance at Killian Hayes or Halliburton, I'm pretty lost on what's best. If I had to pick, I guess it would be Aaron Naismith, but it's hard to see them doing that. As far as their future selections, they actually don't have any incoming, and the only picks outgoing would be their next 2 second-round selections. This is another reason I think they're set up very well for a blockbuster trade over the next few years. But that's the video, guys. You guys tell me your thoughts in the comments below. If you liked the video, make sure you like and subscribe, and the shoutouts are gonna be Dom, Josh, Joseph, Eli, and Cruz. If you guys want to shout out in the next video, all you gotta do is like the video and comment liked or rep notification squad, and I'll shout 5 you guys out. With all that being said, hope you guys have a great day, and peace.